Hi there, this is Steve Kaufman. I'm continuing in this series of how I use LingQ for my Czech, hoping it might be helpful to some people. Obviously, for me, in language learning, I want to accumulate vocabulary, and to me, reading and listening and linking is the key to doing that. Now, some people like to read content that has a very low percentage of new words because it builds up fluency and confidence in reading. It's a fine thing to do. The only trouble with it is that you won't be adding many new words on that basis. I tend to do the opposite. I try to move as quickly as possible into difficult text, which I read on LingQ originally, and then I'll eventually go and read books on the same subject. So here I have from Wikipedia a history of Czechoslovakia, which has a lot of new words in it for me. I mean, it's a large article. I think there's something like 30% new words, and which is 1,000 new words, but that includes a lot of names, so that's not necessarily new words. And one of the things I like to do here is, obviously, is to save them, but it's difficult to remember. I got all these yellow words that I've saved. I don't necessarily remember them all. I want to slowly get a better sense of these words. So one of the things I do is I'll notice in some of these words like vyvratil vrat, you know, and příležitosti, lež, you know, there are these components, you know, zakladje, klad, vytvoril, tvorž, rozkladala, roz is, you know, make a part, like all these, rozsachlo, you know, extended or whatever. All these components are key to learning vocabulary. So what I'll tend to do is, I'll take a word like this, příležitosti, for example, and I'll open it up because I can't copy in our text as it is. I can't copy and paste. But if I open up the link, then I can copy the component that I'm interested in, copy, and then I'll go over to the vocabulary section, which I have open on another page, here I can, you know, look for, here I was looking at P-O-Z, but we're going to enter this L-E-J, the lej, and we'll search for words that have that component in them. And sure enough, we come up with, there's a number of words that mean important. So, důležitá, důležité, důležitému, důležitou, důležitý. So I see these in a row, and I can read the little captured phrases. Důležitá je hlavně přítomnost bratří, or je pro mě velmi důležité přijít na to. It's very important to come to whatever. So, okay, that's the důležitý. Then pretty soon, or most important, nejdůležitější. Okay, then we come to a different meaning, which is this příležitost. That's the one I saw in that article, opportunity. Příležitosti, příležitostním, in different cases. And I look through these and I kind of go over them a bit. And then we get a little further and we get to this matter aspect. Záleželo, it depended on. Záležet, depend on. And then záležitost is a matter, a concern. And then in the different case endings. So I review these, and it helps to confirm what they mean. Now I could look. I mentioned, for example, that roz, which appears all the time, and which means separate. And so we can search for all words that begin with roz. So, you know, rozbit, rozbita, rozbor, rozboru, rozbuska, because very often where you have words that seem to have similar components, it's confusing to you. You mix them up. And so it can either help you learn them or it can confuse you. So I find it very useful to find these lists of words that have components at the beginning, the middle, or at the end of a sentence. And you use the asterisk to either look at the beginning of a word, two asterisks with the term in the middle, will give you that anywhere in the text. And then if you have the asterisk in front, then it'll look for endings. You can also choose only to look at your category 1, like status 1 or 2 or whatever. Words, you can look at your terms in the vocab section by creation date rather than alphabetically. But I like alphabetically because it tends to line up these similar words. And the fact that I have saved words that begin the same or are in fact variations of the same word really means that I didn't really remember it from the first time I saved it. And I save it in 3, 4, 5, 6 different forms then I review it, and that all helps me to remember it. The other thing I mentioned, by the way, any of these lists, of course, you can display them 25 at a time, you can up to 100 at a time, you can select them all, you can flashcard them, close test, print, import, export, and so forth. Now, the other thing here that I wanted to mention was the tags. I tag my words. I mentioned, for example, that I tag words that I call connector words because I find them very difficult to remember. So, avšak, but, během, during, which I now have moved to 4, so I could eliminate it from this list and not look at my known words. And so I look at all these, but, during, unfortunately, thereby, although, on the one hand, but, more, while, if, sometimes. These are words that I've called connector words. I could also look at, for example, the accusative. You know, I have saved words. In terms of their case. Again, I don't know how well you can see this, but I can then kind of review. I might even record these. Record the actual term that I've saved and the phrase that's been captured. Record them. So just in recording them, that's helping me because I'm saying them and then I listen to them. So those are some of the things that you can do in your vocabulary page. I think that's sort of enough on this subject. Yeah, you can, as I say, you can select all, and then you can delete. That's only for paying members, by the way. Or you can move all of them to known if you want, or you can change the status up and down 1. You don't have to actually click on all. You can click on some, and you can then perform these batch actions as well. So that's it. Now, having looked up the příležitosti, you know, I got a better feel now for that word. So I think the next time that I run across příležitosti or důležitý or záležitost, I'll have a better sense. I'll get closer. Maybe I should even move that up a status here. Maybe I'm at status 2 on this now rather than status 1. Okay. Thank you for listening.